Hello, Scar Doctor. Welcome back to another one of my videos, good people. Today's patient is a 2006 Dodge Charger. It looks pretty good, I may say. The customer complaint is skipping. And it does skip. It runs really horrible. So I kind of cut straight to the chase. I'm pulling off the intake now, so I can get to cylinder number 5. And the customer already replaced all the coils and did a tune-up on it, but it's still shaking. My assumption is either got a bad plug, which I see a lot of times, or it's got a defective coil. A lot of customers will go online and buy these cheap coils for $60 for a whole set. You know that's suspect.
I think coils is $60 per coil.
Yeah. So when you can get them $60 for a full set, something is wrong with that. So my goal, what I'm doing just for easy diagnostic, I was going to switch 5 with 2. I'm going to switch over the plugs if I can't find anything out the obvious, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up and I'll show you what it looks like. And of course I had to grab the tools that I need because guess what? I never have the tools that I need. Now what I'm looking for is like oily substance around the coils, which would indicate you have a bad valve cover tube seal. It's these little rings, O-rings, sort of like O-rings, that's on the valve cover that keeps oil out the spark plug well. This is a spark plug well, and they look good. So no oil issue. Now let's take a look at the plug. And I'm just focused on 5, but if there's a problem with this coil, I'm gonna recommend all new coils, the proper coils. Normally the brand I like to go with that don't give me any issues are NGK. So we got NGK spark plugs, and they do look new. My money is on the coils. And also he had a stripped out hole right here. Someone was putting these intake bolts down with power tools and stripped that one out. So I'm gonna have to notate that. Stripped out lower intake. All right, so now I'm gonna take 2 and swap it over.
Did it have a misfire on 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't want to get anything mixed up here. So if the misfire goes to cylinder number 2, we have a bad coil. The plug, I don't see any problem. It is new, like you stated. Yeah. Now these could be knockoff spark plugs too. They will sell you knockoff spark plugs online, surprisingly.
And put NGK on it? They knock off everything.
Yeah. I've seen it done. There's some videos out there that's teaching you how to not get scammed with knockoff spark plugs. I did run across it one time. And as you see, I'm threading this up by hand and using a ratchet to tighten it. You don't want to over tighten this stuff, and you never want to use power tools.
Somebody labeled pulled the
Yeah.
coil.
Now I'm messing up their good labeling work. I don't know why they label them. I guess they was some type of old school mechanic that thought he had to label them, but you don't have to. Make sure I tighten this down. Y'all probably seen me on camera tighten it down. When in doubt, double check. So I'm gonna show them that the code was reading on number 5. All right, let me get my scanner.
While he's doing that, guys, any tools you see him use, he does have an Amazon affiliate store. I'll put it on the screen. I know a lot of comments say, oh, what tool was that? What scanner was that? Or whatever.
I'm not gonna be able to show them the codes right off the bat because if I turn it on now, if the sensor is disconnected, I cause unnecessary lights to come on. So let me slap this intake back on. I'm not gonna worry about the brackets because I may end up taking this back off. So we're just doing something for testing sake. This is the hardest part about it. Let's get this tube into this hole. Came off pretty easy. There we go. Line this up, the EGR. Silly design. Alright, put this in. Boom, boom, boom. Floating around on me. Alright, get my 10mm. Now this does have a torque spec. I'll look it up in a little bit, but I'm not ready to torque it down because I'm just testing. So I'm just gonna snug it up just a little bit. And the final product will be me torquing it down, which I will let you know after I look it up. But it's very important that you torque this stuff so you won't end up with stripped out holes, threads like that one. Better safe than sorry. And as you see, I'm using a wrench. Run them down. Make sure all my vacuum lines are plugged up because you'll have a major vacuum leak if you don't. And don't forget about this back one right here. I'm gonna shine some light on the situation so they can see. Should be 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. Major vacuum lines. And the intake tube. Now I'm not gonna plug the intake up because the car runs fine just without it. It doesn't have a mass airflow sensor like a lot of the majority of vehicles out here. It'd be like a little sensor right here on the air box. And that reads the incoming air going inside the vehicle. This engine uses a different setup. It uses manifold pressure and I think something else. But I'm only hooking this up just so I won't throw any additional check engine lights. So, like always, I'm just double checking everything now. Now I can turn the vehicle on and show you the code that it was doing before. Let's see. So had a thermostat code. It's just a stored, meaning it's like a passcode. He did say he had a coolant leak. I'll get to that in a little bit. Cause it just ran low on coolant, had air in the system. So I'm gonna chuck it up to that. But this is what we're focused on, P305. cylinder number 5 misfiring. Remember guys, I just switched 5 with 2. So hopefully that misfire goes to cylinder number 2, indicating a cheap coil, defective coil. So let's fire it up and just got finished verifying that the light was off. Yeah, she's skipping. I can feel it. Now, every time it skips, I can go to live data and look at the coil burn off or something like that. Guys, I can't really explain it that well. Just, I forgot how to explain it, so I apologize. Somebody write down in the comments I'm pretty sure somebody out there knows. But every time it skipped, the coil burn off would drop off. See, coil 2 burn time. So now the burn time is dropping off every time it skips. You see how it's dropping down? You have the ignition dwell cycles, dwell cylinder 2, and it's up. But then you have the coil burn time. It's dropping off every time the car skipped. And it was doing this exact same thing on cylinder number 5. Every time it skipped, the number will drop off. But as you see, it's skipping. You're probably not gonna be able to tell on video, but take my word for it. It's staying stable. Versus cylinder number 2 is just dropping off real bad. So I'm going to, and this is just the way I'm doing it. Yes, I know the problem, but for the people at home that want to quickly diagnose stuff without any type of fancy tools, you don't really need to look at this. Just pretty soon it's going to throw a check engine light for cylinder number 2. And this is just stuff you can do at home. Now what I'm going to do is to make sure, double check, triple check, I'm doing this swap spark plugs with number 4. So if the skip goes to number 4 now, I'm going to leave the coil where it's supposed to be. I'm going to leave the coil where it is. But if the skip goes to number 4, I know it's a spark plug. But if it stays at number 2 cylinder, I know it's just a coil. That's how I'm gonna diagnose this one. So let's take a look. And as you see, I put the spark plug where it's accessible. So if I need to pull it back up again and run more tests, I can easily get to it. I don't have to fill up the intake anymore. It's a method to my madness. Well, it's a method to my teaching skills. How must I say? Because I don't know where he got these parts from, but he's looking at parts failure. Ooh, a little tight. I want to be careful. I don't want to hit that too hard and crack the casing in the throttle body. Come on. Alright, so I'm gonna leave that be. Now, sometimes my hands move faster than my eyes. I do believe I switched over plugs.
Yes, you did.
I'm gonna tell you no attention. I'll just be
Mindlessly working.
Sometimes you gotta catch up with me. I'll be like, do what I say I was gonna do. And have a brain fart sometimes. All right. So there's no need to put back in the screws. You can if you want to, but I'm just doing a quick little test here. Let's fire up again. Waiting for my scanner to come back online because I did turn it off. So it's got to recognize everything again. I'm gonna have to go out and go back in. Come on. Yeah, I'll just go out and come back in.
May I mention how handsome you are?
I try.
No, you don't.
It's that cocoa butter.
That's what it is.
Let's see. Yep. Coil is falling off. And just FYI, it wouldn't be a spark plug because I'm literally looking at the coil failing in real time. But like I said, I just did that to show you guys that at home without a fancy scanner, you could do this test. And you know, if you didn't have a scanner like that, you just had a regular scanner, you just swap stuff around before you start throwing parts at it and erasing stuff. I do this with a lot of things, guys. I do this with sensors. If it has the same sensor as bank one, or the next door neighbor sensor is the same, if that sensor is at question, just swap it around. You just make sure they got the same connectors. If you don't have the means to, you know, really pinpoint and pin and do complicated tests, you can just easily do this test to save money. Now, I don't know if I need a lift for this, but he did say it was leaking coolant. And looking at that plastic thermostat housing, it does look a little weird. I'm gonna pressure test the system. Yeah, that'll be the safest way. I'm making sure there's no pressure on it. That way I can open it without scalding myself. I don't feel any pressure. I should be able to open this, no problem. I always check caps. Look at that. Need a radiator cap. This is the main seal. This is the secondary seal right here. This is the main seal. I'm sorry. This is the main seal, and this is the pressure relief seal. When the system gets above, normally these caps are like 16 psi. 18 psi, 18 pounds of pressure. That's the spring on this. So when the system reaches over 18 pounds of pressure, this spring will depress, relieving the pressure on the system, and it'll go into an overflow tank. But if this seal is destroyed, it's never going to, you know, build pressure, and you're gonna have coolant issues, leaking, and that's probably the issue. But I'm going to run the proper check and pressure test it up and check that thermostat out. All right, so this is my pressure kit. This should be the right cap. Yep, all right. And normally what I do, I will pump this up to the system pressure, which is like 18. That's how you know the cap pressure. I mean, you pump it up to the cap pressure. And it's okay if you do like a pound over. So that's about 19. And so 2 ways you can do this. You can observe the needle drop. If it's dropping real fast, you have a big leak. And it seems to be dropping really quick. Let's see. I'm gonna have to stick my camera down in there and see what's going on. Let me go grab that paste to have the right tools. All right, guys, this camera has been amazing. I got this from Amazon. Put a little link in the description. I really like it a lot. It held up to a lot of shop abuse. If it can hold up to shop abuse, it can hold up to at home. And this is metal. I thought it was plastic. Yeah, I think he just had a cap problem. Because I'm looking all around this and I don't see any leaks. It looks suspect, it does. But if it's not broken, I'm not gonna fix it. I'm trying to get back here. Come on, snake your way over here. Nope. Oh, there we go. That trail look a little bit suspect right there. But it could be residue. Or it could be leaking at one point in time. Something was leaking, but looks more like oil. Okay. So I'm going to chuck that up. It has dropped. I don't like that drop. It's supposed to hold more than that. I'm gonna pump it back up and continue looking around the engine. If I find something, I'll show you guys. Or my tester is probably old and leaking down. You will have situations like that. And I found it. Come check it out. That's why it's important to have the right tools and the knowledge to know if this thing is dropping, you have a leak, but sometimes it can be your equipment. My equipment is sometimes a little suspect because, as my wife like to say, I'm frugal and like to save money and don't like to buy the right stuff.
Well, no, it's cheap. Look, Tariq said cheap.
So, the radiator and tank is leaking. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on camera. Let's see. It is right there. Just, guys, you just have to take my word for it.
I smell the coolant.
I don't think you can see it right down here, the little puddle that is accumulating.
Zoom in.
Nah, it's too hard.
Is it that wetness shining like?
Well, that's
I
just.
see it. I see it.
That's not the hole though. It's got a crack in the end tank. It's not gonna. It's hard to see. So, this patient, I'm gonna prescribe some good pills. The green tree. No, I'm just. Oh, hey, green trees everywhere.
Man.
I'll prescribe this patient all 6 coils to bring you back up to speed. If you fast forward around, you should have watched the whole video, but hey, I'm gonna say it again. These coils are cheap and it don't make no sense to replace just one coil because as soon as I send them down the road, another coil is just gonna fall flat on its face. I guarantee you. This coil was probably bad out the box. So one coil, no, all 6 coils and a radiator. Let's go talk to the customer and see what he says. They'll give you counterfeit parts online easily. Wow. Yeah, those are definitely not Mopar. I would. Yeah, they definitely counterfeit then, because Mopar, those don't even look like Mopar. They'll have Mopar stamped in them somewhere, and these like little cheap China generic coils. So I recommend all 6 coils, good coils. Normally I go with NGK, but if you want Mopar, I can give you Mopar, but I just like NGK better. If not, figure out something. All right, I just got off the phone with the customer and my assumption was right. Don't trip and fall, sweetie. I'm not trying to get sued.
I would never sue you, darling.
Oh, man, but I don't know if you heard, but he thought he purchased Mopar coils. And I was telling him, I was like, these don't look like Mopar coils. They'll normally have some type of stamp on them or just look a better build quality than this. This build quality is crap. It just don't look to par. So yeah, they kind of got him on that. He was like, man, I didn't think to look back at it because hey, I got all 6 coils. It can't be that. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of people will mess up thinking that way and just be defective parts. So. Yeah, he's gonna go ahead with the repairs. I'll probably get one of my guys to break it back down again and do it. So I'll cut back in once this thing is back purring like a kitten and we'll go from there. Alrighty, we're all done. He wound up spending about $1,300 to get everything done correctly. Correctly is the key word with proper parts. My technician did a wonderful job. We're about to take a look at it together of doing the entire work. This is kind of my slow season, so I try to feed them much work as possible. I haven't really touched car in a good couple of weeks now, right, sweetie?
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like. Around this time, business kind of dropped, but we've been staying steady. Still able to eat. But let's take a listen. I already popped the hood. Let me go ahead and take it up. Let's see. Check it out. So, to recap on what we did was replace the radiator cap. Has a brand new radiator. You're probably not going to be able to see it because this big fan is in the way, but trust me, it's on there. They replaced a whole the clamp too. This one here, probably should just take that one off, but he kind of just left it on there. It'll be fine. But it has another little clamp on it. NGK coils. That's the key to the success for this thing running. But no more skipping. I'm very happy. I always tell my customers, when I'm happy, you're gonna be happy. Until next time, good people, that will be it for this video. If you liked it, make sure you support me by hitting that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out and keeps me motivated to make these great videos for you good people. All right, love you. Take care. See you on the next one.